What's going on, guys? Dead Huckabee here. I am here today to break down and kind of give my review of the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo that came out recently. My buddy Solo Sticks was pretty interested in at least seeing some of the gameplay. This is my own opinion, and without further ado, I think we'll just get into it. Alright everybody, so this is the point in the video where I'm going to start kind of picking apart my gameplay and kind of review it as I go. First off, I cut out a lot, and I mean a lot, of tutorial stuff. So the tutorial menus that pop up and say, oh, press this to do that, there was about 10 minutes of that in this video that just needed to get out. So I'm going to kind of go through what's going on and how I'm approaching each situation, and talk about combat mechanics and stuff as we go through the demo here. So to begin with, this first initial fight, I didn't press a button at all. This was actually me not even touching the stick or buttons. Cloud did that all on his own. I chose classic mode, so he auto-attacks. You still have the option to be very much a participant in all the activities and encounters you're gonna have.
Have fun.
But it's totally up to you. You can play classic mode, let Cloud auto-attack, and then you can hit X at certain times and enter the command menu like I'm doing right now. And there you can like pull a spell or something if you want, and it'll execute that command next. You can also you also aren't limited to just sitting there and watching things. You can totally get in and be pressing Cloud's swing button, which is square, in this demo, for his sword attacks, basic sword attacks and things like that, changing into alternative modes, which we'll see here in a little bit also. But You also have the option to guard and sort of deflect bullets when soldiers are attacking you too. But I just wanted to comment before we go any further. That opening cutscene gave me goosebumps, for one. Just thinking about it side by side in my head of the way it used to look and what they did with that initial opening just filled me with so much nostalgia.
Is he one of us now? He's
how faithful it was.
What was his name again?
Cloud Strife.
Right.
And
it's interesting to see Jess, Biggs,
he's a professional, unlike the rest of us.
All voice acted now. Same with Barrett.
This is a one-time gig. When it's done, we're done.
Real joy to work with them.
I really appreciate that the voice actor and everything is still matching up with Cloud's character at the beginning of the original game.
I'd say you're not even reading the same
Just a
book.
very seemingly out for himself sort of character.
Nobody do something this crazy just for money. They may not think you're a true believer, but you know what I think?
Not interested.
What?
Case in point.
Wedge.
Sorry if the colors do seem a bit kind of off in places, guys. I was recording with HDR enabled, and that can kind of sometimes screw with the way the colors are displayed on the recording itself. But me being me, I was kind of like, I shrugged my shoulders and was just like, you know, I want to experience this in its full glory at 1080p on the Pro with the HDR enabled. Oh, there's a tutorial I missed right there. At any rate, just a nice little lock-on target tutorial. I'm going to leave this one in because you don't really get to see it otherwise.
Looks like you're next.
And it does, it auto-targets you to the next available enemy to keep things flowing. There was only one point in time in this demo that I really felt like I didn't enjoy it, but we'll get there eventually. Yep, use the elevator, Cloud. Press triangle to elevator. Overall, though, the gameplay was really smooth. Camera and everything felt just like Final Fantasy 15 by comparison. The way that handles. Combat kind of similar too. And here I'm gonna try and break the game by blocking Barrett and Biggs.
Huh, not so fast.
It didn't work.
You got company.
Even though they're like 3 times bigger than Cloud, with the exception of his sword.
Think you can stop me?
Alright, so there I was able to stagger an enemy. So they have these little orange bars underneath their health bar, and if you're doing enough damage, or you get them
That it?
on their weak point, you're actually able to take the enemy out of the fight for a minute and kind of daze them. I don't know for certain if that's a thing for her character, or the character you're playing as well yet. The demo wasn't really, or at least the difficulty I might have been playing on wasn't really that apparent whether or not Cloud and Barrett could be stunned in a similar fashion and staggered, but yeah, I guess that's kind of all I really have to say about that at the moment.
See you later.
Come on, Cloud.
Pick up the pace.
And it's kind of silly, it's not until later in the demo that they actually tell you that there's a run button.
Soldiers may attack on command.
So
but I
that's
hear they
just
make good
being
guard
on the
dogs,
stick
too.
and moving forward without
you've seen a
any
few
type of
reactors.
modifications that way. It's pretty
So how do
interesting.
we get to the bridge above Mako's storage? Ain't holding out on me,
I always
are
thought it
you?
was Mako.
Stamp scared to bite the hand that fed him?
Apparently it is
Or is he a
Mako.
loyal little doggy? Have it your way, Mutt. We can do this with you, or we can do this without you.
Different reactor, different layout. Depends when it was built. Never seen one like this, but I'll manage.
In 3, 2... Damn, I'm good.
Who's there? Door!
Okay, so this part you're gonna see me switching styles with Cloud.
That's my line.
He has a triangle action from the beginning that
We can take
isn't really made known until now, called Punisher mode. And so what it does is it makes Cloud way slower, but he's able to basically area of effect attack with his sword more frequently and hit more enemies, doing higher damage. However, like I said, it comes at the cost of your mobility being extremely slowed down. You're kind of moving like you're stuck in quicksand. And that was just me testing the physics of the game. I thought those were the Shinra boxes that gave
It's a
you
good thing
life
I know
and stuff,
someone who
but
can get us the passcodes. Pity no
that
one
is
else at
another
Command will talk
interesting
to us, but what can
take
you
on
do?
this is
And
if
we're
there
good.
are Shinra boxes, you can melee them
Careful
and
in
they
there.
will drop MP,
Well, what are you waiting for?
or I guess like ether type materials. There are little healing materia crystals that come out.
Security's only
But
gonna get tighter, so
as
be
far
ready.
as I've
We
observed
can't
so
afford
far,
any more
there really
mistakes.
isn't any materia being equipped to the characters. I don't know if it's just the limitations of the demo
So,
for the
you
sake
know
of
Tifa, right?
them just
It's
wanting
not
to show
really my
off
business, but are you
basic
guys close?
mechanics. But I was kind of surprised not to see a whole lot of materia. Or at
Tifa
least the
and I-
materia system kind of involved at this point. But it'll probably be one of these games, as I was talking to a friend the other night, that could very well be just a take it as it is kind of game, and don't try to compare it too thoroughly to the original game, because it is striving for different goals, but also trying to tell the same story in a meaningful way.
These sewer rats appear to call themselves
Hagar.
Avalanche, sir.
Hi, Digger. Sorry.
We are currently investigating whether they belong to the same group that made the attempt on your life. Rest assured, our inquiries will not take much longer. This pump's sole purpose is to drain the planet dry. While you sleep, while you eat, while you shit, it's here sucking up Mako. It doesn't rest, and it doesn't care. You do realize what Mako is, don't you? Mako is the lifeblood of our world. The planet bleeds green like you and me bleed red. The hell you think's gonna happen when it's all gone, huh? Answer me! You gonna stand there and pretend you can't hear the planet crying out in pain? I know you can!
You really hear that?
Damn straight I do!
Get help.
Say that again!
I'd worry less
Barrett
about the planet
Uncensored
and more about
for
the
all
next
those
5 seconds.
Faithful
Save the
people
screaming
that
for later.
know Barrett's character. And there he goes doing his best Henry Cavill impression from The Witcher.
Our lives are on the line now.
Single note grunts.
You listening, Merc? One false move. And that happens.
Well, so much for having Cloud do all the fighting. There are some places a sword just can't reach.
So this is an interesting shift in combat mechanics.
Should have asked for more money.
As pointed out, these turrets are out of Cloud's reach now, so we're going to end up swapping party members to Barrett to handle the long-ranged turrets. Now this is where I started to kind of have minor issues with the camera. Although it's pretty good at locking on to enemies and maintaining your focus that way, I felt like, especially in some encounters coming up, that it was a bit cumbersome when you were swapping to the other character to maintain the focus of what you were trying to do with that character when you swap to them. So sometimes the camera would actually not be in focus the way you needed it to be, or pointing toward the enemy, and you had to kind of make those adjustments on the fly. Now I understand we're playing a game here, and that those things are kind of expected, but it would be nice, would have been nicer to have at least that camera shift when you swap to the character actually looking or focusing toward, maybe not directly on, but toward that enemy a little bit better, be a little more snappier that way.
Nothing like a little danger to get the blood pumping.
Hey!
And here's where they tell you you can actually run, which I think is kind of silly. So kind of an interesting part, not really a part of the original version of the game. I don't remember running past laser grids in the opening moments, but it was kind of a nice touch for a fully 3D Final Fantasy remake of this game, to have some sort of obstacle for them to navigate through. Yeah, I can't say as much for Barrett. I don't know if he was with me during that, or if he was just slightly behind and running through the lasers. Alright, here we go. So we've got that little mini-boss fight. Classic. And this is where the stagger mechanic really comes into play. Some enemies are going to be more resilient to your attacks, and you have to think about how you can get the upper hand on them tactically. So Cloud says hit it with magic. I'm going to hit him with a Braver. And now we're going to spells. If I can get there, there we go.
Now's our chance. Go.
Gonna hit him with fire, staggers him. That little jump in frame rate there was quite literally because there was another menu that was telling me about the stagger. So, like I said, it was very... I mean, I understand the tutorial sitting there going, this is what's changed, this is what's changed, this is what's changed, and this is what's changed. But I felt like playing the game, it got a bit invasive kind of toward the back half here, with them butting in all the time with their tutorials. But I understand this is more for a mainstream type audience that might not be as familiar with Final Fantasy titles. Gosh, I know a lot of peers in my classes that are younger than myself that never got to really experience turn-based combat games at the height of their day.
Gotta set the bomb at the bottom.
Or the Final Fantasy series, and why a lot of the games are legendary. This one marking one of the best entries in Final Fantasy history, in my opinion. Just for storytelling and mechanics alone, it was just groundbreaking at the time. Graphically, everything.
Heads up, boys. The end's in sight.
And then we saw 10, and oh, limitations of the demo, you can't go that way. So there's some Shinra crates right there. Sorry, getting derailed a minute. So as you can see, there's the shards, the Mako shards there, that, or ether shards. I'm not entirely sure what they classify that. I think it's Mako shards. So I got full health. magic, all that stuff. Got a few little annoying crap bags here to deal with. So, snap back to Barrett. I noticed that Cloud wasn't able to get up to that turret. I was like, you know, swap to Barrett, do that. That time the camera was pretty good about snapping to the enemy. The other nice thing is whoever you started the combat with, like who your primary was, the game takes that into account. Or at least when it resumes, I believe, because Cloud is pretty much the main character, it shifts back just like it did in the other game. So you would have a party fight, no matter who you were left on as a party member. You end up swapping back to Cloud at the end. But here we go. Here's the big moment. And for those of you faithful to the series, you'll see another slight change.
All right.
After we get
Let's see if
through
Little Stamp really
this
can
fight.
bite the hand that feeds. Go on, do the honors. Prove to me you're the man Tifa says you are. That you're one of us.
Never said I was.
Do it.
I'm just here for
Come
the
on.
paycheck.
Then do the damn job.
Do it. Do it now. Ah, he gave in to peer pressure.
What's wrong?
I'm fine. What about the timer?
Your call, Merc.
So this was interesting. I could set the timer for 30 or 20 minutes, just
That
like in the
long
game.
enough for you?
Classic.
You double crossing!
Now here's where our first change comes here.
Heads up.
For the better. Oh my gosh, this was so much fun.
Hey, how the hell do we fight
Scorpion
this
robot boss
Got
guy.
reinforced armor plating, but the internals can be overloaded. Lightning magic.
thing? No other option, huh?
So long. Take the lead.
All right, watch and learn. Give me some now. Golden opportunity right here. Want some more?
So I had Barrett use his overcharge ability, which fires
Use magic.
3 shots in a row, just kind of boom, boom,
Think
boom.
whatever you want. Just do it.
Alright, and then here you see the menu actually comes up. Whoever has MP at the moment. Well, Barrett had MP. You're able to basically use the bumpers on the top of the controller to swap between characters as well and their abilities. So even if I was on Cloud, but I wanted Barrett to use a lightning attack, for example, I could cue Barrett to do that without having to break my control of Cloud. So this is kind of the difference between classic mode and the other ones, is classic mode allows you to hit that command menu
Go down in flames.
when you want and be more kind of turn-based tactical about certain options and attacks you're going to have in the game.
This thing's gonna kill us both.
Less talking. More
Yeah,
shooting.
just getting up on the wall there.
Huh? It didn't work.
To me, that was like one of the most rad parts, was seeing this boss not just be a stationary obstacle that raised its tail up every so often when its health bar was getting down and then hit you with that big beam. But it was dynamic. It was moving around the battlefield. It was trying to hit you from different angles, so it made you have to swap from Barrett to Cloud, back to Barrett when he's up on the wall, and it's just, they really put a lot of thought process into how they could make these battles still be kind of faithful to the original subject material, but incorporate the new mechanics in a way that made sense for what was going on. There we go. Going to phase 2. So multi-phase boss fights are a thing in the remake, just like they were in the original game, where once you got a boss down to a certain amount of HP, he's going to start doing things, but they made it more dynamic. So there I'm playing Barrett. I'm like, oh no, where do I go? So to avoid this attack, you have to take cover behind debris that has fallen from the ceiling for his tail. This is me still trying to figure out ranges for attacks. Not all attacks, as you can see, rush you directly to an enemy, so there is like a closed range that they operate in. And for Cloud, it's like getting up in that melee range is kind of dicey with this dude, especially because he is just, ouch. He has that shock field that he like pulses out, and Cloud goes flying back for a minute.
Heads up! Tail laser!
I see it.
Then take cover already!
Alright.
Strike now!
Tail laser
before it
again.
fires again!
Barrett got a couple critical hits in on that one.
Here we go.
Give Barrett an ether.
Been a while since I had to go all out.
With some thunder.
Bring in the heat.
There's the overload. Alright, now he's on his last legs now.
Oh hell! What's it doing now?
An auto repair unit. Damn it! We gotta take it out quick or we're screwed.
Oh, I am way ahead of you, Murph.
Again, I queue a Braver, but I'm not within melee mode. So this has all been kind of a learning experience.
It's down. Rain hell on it.
Ain't gotta tell me twice.
It's not gonna go down easy. Focus.
You focus, soldier boy. You ain't gotta worry about me missing it.
So there was a brief thing about limit breaks. I would have been able to do the cross slash, but I was kind of in the middle of handing him his butt, so I didn't get to do it. But limit breaks are still there, very much so.
Shit, the bomb.
And it's after landing consecutive chain combos in a row, I think, is how it kind of works in this circumstance. But now you're going to see something kind of interesting. So the bomb's ticking.
Huh, you hear that? Damn thing showed you how it's done.
In the original game,
We've got to move.
the bomb goes off. Boom.
Where's covering our way out?
The reactor goes bye-bye. There's a nice and interesting little twist here. And I'm not entirely certain what Square Enix is getting at with it. Like, it's kind of like this untold story type thing, but you'll see here in a minute. And this is me realizing, oh hey, I can hold R1 on the ladder to climb faster. But not before I get some stuff in case I encounter more stuff to fight, so. Yeah, Barrett was complaining about that 30-minute timer, but I bet he's glad now.
Come on.
And I'm like, oh, okay. I see the XP pop up, and I'm like, okay, we're done. Oh, nope. Had one more trailing behind me. There we go. So I was trying to run, and I'm sitting here guarding, and I'm like, what's going on here? There's still one enemy left. Didn't check the map. And we were wondering when we were going to see Cloud do this. Because if you recall in the original game, he had to shimmy across a pipe to get to a ladder that kind of went diagonally down toward the reactor.
Do I look okay?
So
Help a girl
they
out,
very much
will
kept
ya?
this alive, so to speak.
My hero.
This part does happen
Hey,
in the original
we'll
game.
link up over there. Look after Jesse.
Come
However,
this
there's
way.
going to be some
This
other
looks like
minor
we get
changes,
straight to
but
Barrett.
I feel like for what they did here, this is really cinematic and it works well in terms of telling the story. There was some more Shinra boxes there, but I was like, I'm good.
Don't look back. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
However, that chest needs opening. 28 minutes. We got time to open chests, people, but not slash boxes.
We're running out of time.
Shut up and climb. You're not helping.
Sorry, it keeps me focused. I'll freak out if I don't talk.
Have it your way.
There we see Barrett on the far side climbing almost in sync with Cloud. Ladder climbing animation is always so much fun to see how they approach it in games. Sometimes it looks a little stiff and janky.
Find us the way out of here.
But then
In this case, I think it kind of felt that way.
Don't worry, I'll be fine.
But
I've got Soldier Boy with me.
it's a minor gripe. I mean, for how pretty this game
Soldier
looks,
Boy.
it's a minor
They're here.
detail, truly.
Take them down.
We don't have time for this shit. The clock's ticking.
Cool it. 5 seconds is all we need. Enough.
The others are waiting. Gotta get the hell out of
And
here.
you can see the attack button was being tapped there. Pretty much after that first entry or intro into the game, when you get off the train and I didn't do anything, I've been actively using my attack buttons and doing some real-time stuff like in Final Fantasy 15.
Calling fire. Going in.
Now we're going to stagger him with magic, because we remembered that. Just make him wish that he'd never been born. Boom. Boom. Oh hey, another chest. We got time to open chests. Come on, Barrett. Let's see what's in this chest. Oh, we got some ethers. Alright, cool. Let's pause here for a minute and take in our just rewards. Oh, wait, we should probably get moving.
No shit.
Go!
That's that.
So albeit, there was a little jump there. That again was like on the way out, they've got another tutorial screen that opens up. I forget what it's telling me, but it was kind of silly. It's like, I just want to play, man. Just stop hitting me with this stuff.
Seeing its first action.
Those shock troopers. The guys who look that and had the claws in the original game. Yeah.
Give me a break.
Hit myself with a potion real quick. There I went into Punisher mode. So you can see how much more damage I actually did, but you can also see how slow Cloud moves in terms of that. So now we're back to Barrett. Trying to get back to Barrett.
Was never
Boom.
in doubt.
Over. It's a big shot. Alright. Now here's the interesting plot twist.
Sir.
Barrett's bomb really didn't do anything.
Come on.
I just find that kind of interesting that they took that take that Shinra wanted to more or less blow up his own reactor to maybe make them look more like terrorists. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It's an interesting take on it, on the old the lore.
We don't have a lot of time. Hey, people.
Can you walk?
If I couldn't, believe me, you'd be the first to know.
I'll take that as a yes.
Okay, that was pretty cool. All right, come on.
There's another perspective that you kind of almost don't get to see. You see, and this is kind of the end of the demo coming up here, but you get to see that at ground zero, like the people stopping their cars abruptly and freaking out from this attack that they just experienced, and I don't know, I loved this demo, aside from the minor gripes, so much that I'm having a difficult time trying to choose between the RE3 remake and this game. So that concludes my review of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Loved it. I want more, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Hey YouTube, thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed. For more live streams and other videos, keep it right here, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks.